Welcome to our webinar, which is the final one out of our series of preparation for Test of Russian as a foreign language. So throughout this week, we talked with you about every single level of TORFL, and we talked about speaking and writing and all the other parts. And today we will talk about taking TORFL online. So we will talk about how exactly do we do it. Because I mentioned it several times that nowadays you not only have an opportunity to go to a local testing center and take the exam on paper, you also can do it in the comfort of your own home and just do it online. Yeah. So let's take a look. What exactly are we supposed to be doing? First of all, as usual, I'm just going to say a few words about our university. And I want to say that if you don't find these webinars enough for you to prepare, you can always just log in at our university website and find some information about preparation courses, find some information about courses of Russian as a foreign language in general, because we have a big experience of teaching Russian as a foreign language. And also we have probably the biggest department of Russian as a foreign language in Russia. So please come join us, and maybe you will feel more confident before you start preparation for TOEFL. And what I want to say about our language testing center is that despite the fact that we have so many testing centers abroad, this year, or should I say last year, 2020, after the pandemic hit the world, and we realized that all of our partners, all the SAT centers, they kind of got trapped in online. Yeah, so we just realized the necessity of creating some tool that will allow our participants, our candidates, to take the exam online too, just because all the classes were transferred to online format. And the teachers were online, students were online, so we decided that we need to go online too. And we created a completely new program. Yeah, so a completely new platform specifically designed for you to take the exam. Even though it's relatively straightforward, it requires some practice. Yeah, so it requires some preparation to use it effectively, and to see how exactly it works. So that's why we have our webinar today, because I'm going to show you using a lot of screenshots, using a lot of just very simple instructions to how to use this platform and how to take the exam. Before you decide to sit it online, double check if you have a center next to you, because this year a lot of centers, they start opening up. So maybe you actually don't have to take it online. You can take it on paper, but it's totally up to you. If you don't feel comfortable enough to go to the testing center, or if it's really far away, you always have this option. So what do you need to do first? First, you need to prepare for your exam. And to prepare, you can use our testingcenter.spbu.ru website, where you can find, first of all, the huge section on preparation. So this preparation includes a lot of practice tests. So for every level, we have at least 2 practice tests available. But now we are preparing the third preparation material. So you will have 3 versions of the test for each of the levels. And also you can watch some webinars. So for example, this one's going to be recorded and going to be posted there, but also some webinars in Russian, or some webinars in English, but what we've done previously. So you can find these webinars at this section, listen to different speakers, and find who do you find the easiest to listen to. Yeah. So all the webinars are also on YouTube at our channel, but that's what you find at the website. After you feel ready, after you feel confident that you are able to take the exam, and not only take it, but actually pass it, what do you need to do? You need to go to the same page and need to open the page Контакты, our contact details, and send us an email. So just get in touch with us at test.language at spbu.ru, and we will help you to find a suitable date for your exam. So if you want to take the exam online, we usually hook you up with a local testing center, or we arrange it for you separately. But we arrange a group, so we will probably link you to a certain group of candidates who also take the exam at the same day. So what will you need to do is just find a suitable date for you. Usually we do exams online during the weekends or on Fridays or on Mondays. It is rarely at any other day of the week, but Mondays, Fridays, and weekends are usually available. And since it's online, we take it and we provide it pretty much every week. So you have a lot of choices. You have a lot of options in terms of when to take your exam. So as soon as you send us an email, we send you suitable dates, and that's when your preparation starts. What you can do even before you get our login and password details, you can, first of all, go and download a specific browser called Yandex browser. You're probably familiar with Yandex. Yandex is a huge Russian Google. So that's a search engine. That's a tool. So that's a tool to, to search online, to search for pictures, read news. You also have email addresses on Yandex. And also Yandex has its own specific browser. Why do we recommend to download this particular browser? You can try and do it via Google Chrome, but it doesn't always work. And it never works with browsers like Safari. Because what you're going to have, you're going to go to a platform which is located in Russia, and Russian websites are just marked as phishing websites or maybe as suspicious websites by any countries, and we can't really control that. So you don't want to risk it. You want to be completely safe, and you want to be completely confident that everything's going to work for you on the test day. And that's why you need to download Yandex browser. That's probably the easiest option. And then make sure to go through technical requirements. I have it just as an example here, but we will go now through most important out of them together. But also you will receive an instruction which is going to called exactly like this, preparation for online testing. And it will be either in Russian or in English. And you can and should actually go through technical requirements. Until when you can apply? Well, you can apply at any time, right? So we need about a week to get you started. So if you apply, let's say on Monday, you can most likely you can take the exam that weekend. But we recommend you, of course, to apply as soon as you decide, so a bit earlier than that. But that's probably the latest. Usually on Thursday, before the weekend of the exam, on Thursday we already send some materials. So we send you login details, we set you up at the system. So make sure you apply a bit before that. So at least, let's say, on Monday before the exam. Okay, so what about the technical requirements? The most important thing is that you cannot take the exam from your phone. Yes, so that's the question we get all the time. Unfortunately, neither your phone nor your tablet will work. So you will need a laptop, you will need a computer. Nothing special about that. So just a basic laptop will go. Most important thing that you will need for your exam is the speed. So your internet should be relatively fast. How to do it? You have this website, and if you just, Google, check the speed of your internet, it will show you quite a few links. I just gave you some examples here, speedtest.net or speedcheck.org. And it will show you two parameters. One parameter is download speed, and that means the speed of the materials that go into your computer. Like, for example, listening or reading or opening different files. That's important, but that's usually pretty high for all of us. Another parameter is the upload speed, and that can be pretty low. What we noticed is that a lot of providers, they promise you that you're going to have a particular speed, but what they mean is actually download speed. Check your upload speed too, because it should be no lower than 1 megabit per second. And upload speed, you will need to talk, because you're going to have your speaking, you're going to have a screen sharing, and you will also be filmed while taking the exam. So you will need the computer to have an access to your web camera. And for all this to be recorded, you need to have a pretty good upload speed. So just make sure to check it. Make sure you have all this upload and download speed in place. So at the test day, you're sure that your internet speed is okay. So I Not sure I understand you correctly, Loretta. So nothing will expire if the application is late. What exactly do you mean will expire? So you will receive your login and password right before your exam, yeah? So it probably will not expire. Your application will obviously not expire too, because you will just send us an email and we will make sure to arrange you on a specific date, yeah? So maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on your question so I can answer it fully, yeah? But from what I can see now is, yeah, nothing will expire. You can take an exam on any day, but make sure to let us know on which day you're planning to take your exam so we can send you all the details. So what else will you need? You will need your camera, so web camera. You will need your speakers or headphones and microphone. What do you need it for? Basically, the exam is arranged in a way that you turn on your computer, you open this Yandex browser, you go specifically to this website, so you make sure your other tabs are closed. You go to this website, and the website asks you to kind of take control of your computer for a little while, yeah? So what do we need? We need, first of all, to see your screen. So you will allow to screen share. After you allow this, you need to allow to record your video. So it's nothing special. No one will actually look at it directly unless we have some concerns or unless we have some suspicion that you might have cheated, right? So otherwise it will just be recorded. It will be on our server. It's completely safe and secure. And if you need some information about security, we're ready to provide it. So all the security protocols we follow. And then it will be kept at a protected drive, which doesn't have any access to internet. So it's pretty secure, the system that we're using. But of course, if you need to, and if you want to find out more about it, you can also ask us in the email. So you will need us to allow us to record here. You will need to allow us to play audios for you and record and allow to use your microphone. So all this should be on. And after you do this, we recommend you to close all the tabs, all the other tabs or apps, because they tend to use significant energy and significant chunk of your internet connection, especially apps like Skype, Zoom, Microsoft Teams. So all these apps, also some games, maybe sometimes even apps like PowerPoint tends to use significant energy and to slow you down. And all the tabs should be closed to, because we specifically check for that. You are basically not allowed to open any other tabs, right? So that's for protection, that's for security, and that's for making sure that you don't cheat during the exam, right? So that was probably the most difficult tool for us to design, because of course you can do an exam via Zoom. Of course you can go through exam sections just on the screen. But to make sure that the exam is still valid, to make sure that the exam is still secure, we need to actually have an access to all these particular details, right? Even though you will do everything on screen, we recommend that you have your paper and pen close, just because you might want to write something down. You might want to, during the listening section, just do some notes, or you want to maybe write down something before you actually type it in on the screen. And of course, you will need pen and paper for writing. We will talk about it a bit later. Also, what you're going to need is your dictionary, and the requirement stays the same. The dictionary must be paper-based. So you are not allowed to use online dictionaries, including Google Translate, including Reverser, including any other tool. You will still need to use your paper-based dictionary, and you will need to remove other objects from your table, right? So that's what you're supposed to be doing. What else do we need to know before the exam? As soon as you decided, as soon as you got a confirmation from us that you are able to take an exam on a certain date, you will need to send us your detail. So what do we need? We need your name and surname. We need your name and surname in English and in Russian. So if you don't mind, we can transliterate it to Russian for you, but we need your confirmation, so you're happy with the transliteration we're using. We need your email address, so that's what you're going to be your login. And we need the level of your exam. So which level do you want to take? So usually you will have different parts in 2 days. So what we usually do, we usually do A1, A2 in one day, just because they're very short. We usually do B1, B2, C1, and C2 over 2 days, just so it's easier for you. It's a bit, these parts are a little bit longer. So usually what you have is writing, grammar and vocabulary, and reading at the first day, and listening and speaking on the second day. After you send it all to us, let's say your exam is on Saturday and Sunday, and you will get the login and password from us on Thursday. And you will get also your timetable. Your timetable is completely personalized. So even if you take your exam together with a friend, let's say, don't be surprised that she or he will get a completely different timetable, because it's all completely personalized. And which is very, very important, you need to be on time. I mean, it's generally good to be on time for your exam, but it's especially important if you take your exam online. Because what's going to happen is that at this platform, the part will be open to you only during the time that you are scheduled for. So if you are set to do your exam at 10 till 10:30, let's say it's a listening part, this part will be only available for this half an hour. You cannot do it later. You cannot start earlier. You are supposed to do it at that particular time. Also, you will have about 10 minutes break between parts. And if you finish earlier, your break will be longer. So if you finish one part earlier than you're supposed to, your timetable will not shift. So it will still stay the same. You will just have a bit of a longer break. All the timetable is usually given in Moscow time, and we are specifying it specifically in the timetable itself. If it's not Moscow time, it will also be specified, but usually it is Moscow's time. Also, you will have additional 10 minutes before every part for verification, and verification meaning showing your ID and making sure that everything is working again. So making sure your camera is working, making sure your mic is working, speaker, and you are allowed to screen share. So everything, you will have to go through this procedure after, or let's say before every part, but you are allowed to, you're allocated additional 10 minutes to do specifically that. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see what is our platform. What does it look like? So it looks like this. You go to this website, which we designed for our test, languagecenter.open.spbu.ru, and you will have to type your login and password here. So your login is your email address. Your password is what we sent you. So this password is basically only used for one time. If you decide to take a different test later, you will have to request a new password for us. But you will receive it, and that's pretty straightforward. You just need to type it in and click sign in. What's going to happen next? You will see this interface. So you will see your selected level, and also you will see a section practice test, where you can play around and practice. I really recommend you to do it before the test. I really recommend you, even if you are watching now this webinar right before your test is supposed to happen, it's good, it will help you, but nothing helps better than just going online and try it out yourself, seeing where exactly to click, where to select what, yeah, how to navigate and operate this platform, yeah. So make sure you go through it in advance. Let's say if you receive your details on Thursday, you spend, 20 minutes on Friday to prepare. You don't need much time at all, but you need a little bit of time to get prepared. Also, you will find some demo tests at the same page, so you can go through them, you can download them. What are the recommendations I can give you? You can use the same login details for practice test as you will for actual exam. So as soon as you log in, unless you click log out, which you don't have to do, you will be stayed logged in, so you don't have to type it twice. Or you can use it twice, that's completely fine, but once for practice and once for the actual exam. You will have 30 minutes to practice, and practice tests is nothing nothing more than a practice. So it's not the actual tasks. It's basically just selecting correct answer rather than incorrect answer. And practice task has a lot of explanations, a lot of pop-up windows. So make sure you just play around in it a little bit for about 30 minutes. You can only go through practice test once, just like through every part of the test. That's how the test is designed. If you go through it and you realize that you don't have enough knowledge still, you don't feel completely confident using the platform, or you made some mistake and you were logged out and you cannot go through practice tests, just send us an email. We will try to get you sorted. But what's the most important thing, if you get anything wrong, so if you get a message that something is wrong, if you got your internet connection breaking, or if you clicked on the wrong page, if you did anything you were not supposed to be doing, send us an email together with a screenshot of what happened. So the screenshot will really help us. If we see a screenshot, we know exactly how to help you. So make sure to make a screenshot and send it to us straight away. All right, so let's say you are taking the test. Let's say you are already on this test day. What you need to do is, next to the level that you selected, you click Take the Test. So beware, if you already used this platform before, and if you have already taken a test with us, it stays on the platform. So you might see that you have, let's say, elementary level and then a basic level. So make sure to select the right one. If you've taken elementary level before and now you're taking basic, well, select basic then, right? So elementary level might be there from your previous session. That's completely normal. So take the test, and what's going to happen next, you will see a screen like this. So you will see a structure of exam: writing, vocabulary and grammar, speaking, reading, listening, and you will see message to the candidates. And message to the candidates is nothing else but just your instructions. So what you're supposed to be doing. These instructions will pop in at every screen. So if you get lost, you can always get back to them. And we have instructions at the moment in Russian, English, and Chinese. But of course, we will develop more languages as soon as we get a chance. And what's going to happen next? You select the first part, which is always writing. So writing goes first. So for writing, you will not need any Russian keyboard. You will not need to type, because writing is still done on paper. So don't worry about that. You don't have to do, you don't have to prepare additionally. Just paper and pen will go. Okay, so then you will see a message that this exam is proctored. And proctored means that someone will be watching over you. So this exam is watched over. Usually what we have is that the system watching over you and gives you messages if they think that you're doing something wrong. Most common message that you might see is wrong gaze direction. So wrong gaze direction means that you're looking elsewhere but not at the screen. That will appear during the writing section. Don't worry about this, because you actually don't look at the screen. At the other parts, you're supposed to look at the screen all the time, because that's where your exam will be. So whenever you turn around, the exam platform will notice it. So we will see that this is probably the moment in your recording which we will need to look at, because you might be looking elsewhere. Another message that the system can send you is that you're opening another tab. If you try to open another tab, it will also be recorded at your, it will also be written specifically, noticed and mentioned that you're recording. So make sure not to do that, because we will notice it anyway after we look through it. So the proctored exam, you just need to click. So that's going to be your terms and condition. You can read it. So that you will be looked at, you will be recorded, and your voice will be recorded. And what you will need to do is we'll need to agree with it and click continue. After that, you will see a screen where you are supposed to give the platform an access to your camera, to your screen, and to your headphones. So make sure to click specifically at this part, so first thing that you're doing is you're clicking at this screen. So click on that and then click on this, right? So, I mean, I know it sounds silly, but it's not that obvious that you're supposed to first click on the screen and then second on the actual accept the rules. So I'm just making sure that we're all on the same page. After you click there, this platform will automatically check your internet connection speed, your mic, your camera, your headphones, so everything like that. And then it will ask you to take a photo of your ID card. So what you will need to do just to show your ID to the camera, like we see now at the screen. So what your ID can be, it should be the same ID that you registered at the exam for. So it can be your national ID, it can be your passport, or it can be maybe something else like your birth certificate, but it will be the same ID that you registered at the exam with. What you eventually will be seeing, if everything is successful, is 4 green arrows. So first thing is webcam and microphone, second image from the webcam, network connection, and streaming desktop. If something doesn't work, you will need to give a permission to the system to do whatever is not working. Yes, so either, most commonly it's either streaming webcam on a desktop, and that probably means that you didn't give an access to your screen, or it might be network connection, and that means it's a little bit too slow. So try just clicking away all the other apps that you have open, so they don't use any energy. And in any moment you can click repeat system check. So that's right here, repeat system check, and it will just do it for you again. If nothing is working, send us an email. Yes, I will try to fix it for you. But usually, if you go through the practice test and you give all the permissions, usually on the test day, you don't have to do anything additional. So that's usually exactly the same. All the sections stay the same. After you do this, you will have this screen, which will have a section, Start Your Exam. Start your exam, you click on it, really good, and yeah, no wonder your exam starts. You will be allowed to begin your exam at the time which is stated in your timetable. So what you can do is you can, even if you finish a previous part a bit earlier, you can wait, you can have a longer break, make yourself a cup of tea, and go again to the screen and to your computer only when your time starts. Also, the time is limited, so you will see a timer in the right top corner of your screen, and you will see it when you minimize the camera window, so you can hide it. You don't have to see yourself all the time. You will see just the time. And this time is going down, so the timer is going down. And you're allowed to finish even before, it doesn't matter, but definitely not later than that. So what else? As soon as your time is over, the test will be stopped automatically. So make sure you have a little bit of time to check your writing or to check any other part of the test. Make sure that you have a little bit of time left, because otherwise you might end up being, all of your answers will be, for example, not saved. If you finish earlier than that, click End Your Test. Okay, so as we already decided, we have 5 parts of the test, and they go specifically in this order: writing, grammar and vocabulary, reading, listening, and speaking. And let's begin with writing. So writing will be done on a piece of paper, and you are supposed to sign it this way: surname, name, nationality, and date. If you're using more than one piece of paper, make sure to sign every single one. And then you write your answer down. So you will have your tasks on the screen, but you will write using a pen or even a pencil on a sheet of paper. Don't forget to put numbers on your papers so we understand where did you begin and where did you end. You can use your dictionary, yeah? So you can do it. And what is going to happen next? As soon as you finish, you need to upload your writing into the system. So what you can do is you can take a picture of your writing and make sure to do it while you're staying on the camera. So while you're staying in the view, make sure to take a picture of your writing or maybe scan it if you have a scanner at home, and then upload it to the system. Where do you have it? You will have it exactly at the same part of the system. So the part exam, right below this writing part, you will have a section upload. Click it and upload it, right? So you will have 10 minutes, 10 additional minutes to do it. Usually a lot of people, they do it much faster. That's okay, great. You just have a bit more time to have a break. Upload your writing all at once, so all files at the same time. Don't upload it separately. What you can do is you can select all of them together and just drag them into the window, or in the settings you can select upload at the same time, and that's how we're going to see them. So all the accepted formats are on the screen, and maximum file size is up to 10 megabytes. You don't really need to have more because it's just writing. And make sure it's good quality. So make sure we can read it. Make sure we can understand it. It's no problem that you have some corrections. It's no problem that something is crossed out or written over. That's fine. But we need to have a good quality to be able to read it. And make sure that you have all the answers submitted and clearly state your surname and the page number at the title of every single one. So for example, state that's Ivanov Ivan 1, Ivanov Ivan 2, Ivanov Ivan 3. So that's how we understand that it belongs to you, and that's the order. After you've done it, you can go to upload files, yeah, and then submit your response and move to the next step. After you do it, in the pop-up window, click OK, yeah? And that's how your writing is over. So you're not really allowed to get back to it anymore, right? So that time of that part is over. What goes next? Next is end my test. So here you need to click it specifically in order to continue with the next part, yeah? So click end my test, and then that will bring you back to the same screen that you've seen before with all the parts. The next part will be, before you click it, you need to click end my proctored exam, but that's pretty self-explanatory. So after you click end my test, you just need to confirm it once again that you end your exam. Okay, great. Then to go for the next part, and next part is usually grammar and vocabulary, you need to get to the same screen that you were before, to your activities, and after writing and after uploading writing, you will see grammar and vocabulary section. So grammar and vocabulary and reading are really easy to be done on the screen, and I think it's even easier than to do it on paper, because what you need to do is you need to just select the right answer, yeah? So how it's going to look? It's going to look pretty much like this. Yeah, so you will have different answers in front of you. And as soon as you select the right one, you need to click a submit button. So usually how it looks, it looks like it's separated in parts. Let's say 5 or 10 questions each part. After you answer all the 5 questions from the part, you will have an option to click submit, and you need to do it. After that, you're not allowed to change answers for these 5 questions. So there are 2 ways to do it. One way to do it is to click submit after every 5 questions, so whenever you have a chance. Another way is to answer all the questions, and then at the end of your exam, click submit at every single one. What we definitely recommend, and what is pretty much inevitable here, is you need to answer all the questions. Remember, we talked about this when we talked about the TORFL in general, that answering all the questions actually can help you a lot because you can guess right. And what we have here is that actually it's necessary to answer every question, because otherwise you cannot submit them. So make sure you have time to submit your answers. So 5 questions, click submit, 5 questions, click submit, or answer every single one and then click submit after every part. After you submit all the sections, what you're going to have is you need to end your proctored exam again. So click end your exam, end your proctored exam, and you will be taken back to the system. After the grammar and vocabulary part, you will have reading. So select the reading, that's a third part, and make sure to have it at exactly the time you are allocated to. I think I will answer all your questions at the end of the webinar. That's going to be just easier. Just so we finish now with this, just please continue typing your questions. I see them, I notice them. I will definitely answer them at the end because I think that maybe we will get some more questions, right? So it will be just easier. After reading, reading is essentially the same like vocabulary and grammar. So you will see texts, you will see all of them together. So if you scroll down, you can see all the text at once. And you are able to decide which text to read first and which text to do first. You're able to decide that, and you're able to decide which answers to fill in first. Again, you have an option to click submit after every text, or to answer all the questions and then click submit after every single one. Just make sure you click it. Yeah, make sure you click submit because otherwise your answers can be lost. Then end the section and the proctored exam. And that's how we get to the next part, which is a little bit more tricky, is listening. Why is it a little bit more tricky? Because you're supposed to listen here. So make sure your headphones work really well or your speakers work really well, that you can hear them, they're loud enough. And better make it the louder the better, because you can regulate it later, but better make it the louder the better. And you will have to click on play by yourself. So go the same thing, go through verification check that you go before every single part, go through verification check that you're given 10 minutes for, and then you click the play button. After you click it, all your videos and audios will just go one by one. Yeah, so you don't have to click the play after every audio. But then, while watching it, you will have pauses. Don't worry, you will have breaks between parts. They're pre-recorded. But after you click it, you are not allowed to stop it and then click it again. So click play. I recommend you to click play after you read the questions for the first part. So you will see the questions straight away. So read the questions for the first part. After that, click play. And then here you go. You just start, right? So after the first recording is over, read the questions to the next one. And then the next recording will go. Yes, you don't have to click play again. Right? You're not supposed to pause the recording. You're not supposed to listen to it again. Every audio plays once, unless you're taking a one. And you here in listening, you can't really choose what goes first and what goes second. You're pretty much required to follow the pattern that we're giving you. Yeah. So unlike in every other section. Okay. So after that, you need to submit all the questions. So don't forget to do that. You need to submit every part and you need to submit every single question. And then what you do is you confirm that you end your proctored exam. And that's how all your multiple choice parts and all your writing is over. To do the next part, you need to go to speaking. And speaking is not the most challenging, but the most different out of all of them. Yeah. Let's take a look how we do speaking. So first of all, in your instructions, you will be given 2 time slots. So one slot will be for your preparation and one is for the actual speaking. So these slots can have quite a long break between each other. That's completely normal, because what happens is that all of you will have preparation at the same time and then speaking one after the other. So obviously some will go first, some will go last. It's allocated pretty randomly. But think about it this way, like these options, they both have good and the best. Oh, sorry, well, good and the best, exactly. So good and bad, because if you go first, well, you're free much quicker and you still remember what you watched, you still remember what you read. If you go last, you have more time to prepare, okay, but you have a tendency to forget what happened, and also the exam will just take a bit longer for you. So it can be pretty long break, that's okay, but make sure that preparation is at the same website, just like all other parts. So you need to go back to the same website, open.spbu.ru, yeah, and you need to prepare using the same link. So what you will have there, you will have some videos if you take B2, if you take C1, you will have some texts if you take B1, or you will have questions if you take A1 or A2. The preparation materials will be there. So for the next slot, for the second slot that you are given, you are required to come prepared because the examiner will not have time to give you the preparation task. You are supposed to be already prepared by then. The link to your speaking will be sent to you separately, and speaking will be done over Microsoft Teams or Zoom, whichever is more convenient for you. So basically, the default, we use Microsoft Teams because it's secure, because it's easy to do, and you don't really have to have an account there to go through it. But you also can do Zoom. Yeah, so Zoom is also pretty convenient to do that. You need to keep your ID handy for the speaking part, so make sure you have your notes. Make sure you have your notes in terms of if you want to read something or if you want to just use something for talking, right? So make sure to have your notes and you have your ID, because at the beginning of the exam, the examiner will ask you to say your name, your surname, and to show your ID to the camera. So just keep it handy. Okay, so to sum it up, we have grammar and vocabulary, reading and listening completely at the website we talked about. Writing, you also do at the website, but you write by hand. Yeah, you write on a sheet of paper that you need to take picture of or you need to scan. Speaking, you do your preparation at the same website and you do your actual speaking at Microsoft Teams or Zoom. After that, after you finish your exam, usually you will receive your results pretty quickly. So that usually takes a few days to receive your results. And then in some more days, so maybe in a week, we can send you an email which can contain your certificate. So your certificate will be emailed to you and your statement of results, which look like this, will be emailed to you. But then you can already use it, right? So if your stakeholder, if your employer or maybe your institution requires you to send them an online version of a certificate, you can already use it, yeah? But we also will post it to you. So we'll post it by a courier post, and it takes a bit longer to arrive. It might take, depending on the country, but it usually takes a bit 3-4 weeks to arrive. Yeah, but that's the actual certificate. So you will be knowing your results and you will be having your certificate and statement of results in PDF version long before that. So it will usually happen just within a week. And while I'm reading your questions and trying to answer them, I will just show you our website and email, so contact details once again. So if you decide to take this exam online, make sure to send us an email. When I'm sure we will find a good way to do an exam for you. Okay, so let me take a look at the questions. So I think I answered about the application is late. So how do we have to pay? So you will be sent an invoice that you need to pay. An invoice is usually easy to be paid by your bank transfer or maybe using a bank card. So using your, I think maybe even PayPal. I'm not sure about PayPal, but definitely by a bank transfer or just a credit card or debit card. So writing consists of 3 parts. It will be definitely in time and done subsequently. And then yeah, exactly. So writing consists of 3 parts, but you just at the actual exam, you decide how long each part will take you. Yeah, so writing usually has, let's say, 1 part for A1 test, 2 parts for A2, B1, then 3 parts, and then 3 parts for the rest of the levels. And you decide by yourself how long you spend on each writing. So maybe you take, I don't know, 10 minutes to write the letter 1, but half an hour to write the letter 3. That's completely fine. That's up to you. All the answers need to be uploaded at once. So you need to either group them in one PDF file or one JPEG file, or you just need to select them all at once so they are uploaded nicely at once at the platform. So yeah, you can choose at random which you can do first. So you cannot choose which part of the test you can do first. So you cannot choose to do, let's say, grammar and vocabulary first and then speaking. Yeah. So you allocate at a certain time to do a certain part of your test. But within a part, you absolutely can decide. So let's say in the grammar and vocabulary, you will have just a really, really long page that you can scroll, and all your questions going to be there, and you can decide which question to do first, which question to do last. That's completely up to you. Same about reading, same about writing. Not that much the same of listening, because listening, you have this task recorded at one long recording, so you cannot really play it in a different order. But apart from listening, it's completely up to you how you do it. So can you do something else during the break? You don't have to stay in front of your computer. It's not necessary. You can do something else during the break, but I strongly recommend you to keep the tab open just in case, just in case the internet shuts down or something, you don't have to reload it. So you don't have to stay in front of your computer, but just keep the tab open. You will only need Zoom. Yeah, you will only need Zoom for the speaking part, only for the speaking part. And it doesn't have to be Zoom. So I stopped at the moment when I said that you don't need Zoom or Microsoft Teams for any other part other than speaking. So also you don't have to install anything, because Microsoft Teams can actually work without a pre-installed program. Yeah, we can also use Skype if it's the only available tool for you, but Skype is least preferable because usually it has connection issues. So our most preferable is Microsoft Teams or Zoom. What about the recommended dictionary that you can buy? Well, that's really, really a good question about the dictionary. To be honest, I don't really have much of a recommendation. I think the dictionary should be familiar to you. So whichever you have, usually you don't need to have something really complicated. You don't really need to have some dictionary which contains more than, let's say, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 words. Just because what you need to have is just pretty normal dictionary, bilingual dictionary to your language. When it comes to dictionary, which is just with Russian to Russian, so a definition dictionary, I think probably the best one is Ozhegov dictionary. I'm going to send it to the chat. Yes, so Ozhegov dictionary is the one I can recommend in terms of definition dictionary. Bilingual, I don't really have any specific one. I know Oxford dictionaries are quite good, and I know there are plenty of them. So it depends on your language, first of all. Yes, so it really depends on that. Does this happen during the exam? You mean the internet breakdowns? Of course, all the time. That's completely fine, Andreas. Yes, so it can happen with us. It can happen with you. That's absolutely normal. And it doesn't really affect your exam. Because what's going to happen if you really disappear for a while? Just most important thing that I want to say, if anything like this happen, send us an email straight away stating that and taking a screenshot if something doesn't work. And we're always there. So you will have a moderator, you will have a manager who will be always online for you and who will respond very quickly and solve your issue. Or if it's our issue, we will solve it ourselves, obviously. And if you have an internet breakdown for a really, really long time, you will have additional minutes to complete the part. If it's just for a few seconds, usually it doesn't really impact. It doesn't really have any impact on your part. So if anything like this happen, it's not a problem. That's internet, yes, so we can't really be sure that it will be completely stable. All right, so any other questions that you might have? Probably I think that if you actually decide to take TORFL online, final recommendation that I can give is make sure to go through the practice test, because I show you screenshots and it's really good idea to have this webinar somewhere in your recordings, have this webinar, a link for it just somewhere near to you, because you can go through it while you actually receive an access to the platform. And then you can easily familiarize yourself with it. And the more preparation you do, the less problems you will encounter during the actual exam. That's usually how it works. Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions, I want to say thank you so much. Yeah, because actually it was such a good experience for me to have these webinars with you, because it was really nice to work with you. You were always very active during the webinars. You always helped me writing your answers, writing your recommendations, and that's amazing. Thank you so much. And I wish you best of luck to participate in your exam. Okay, so before we go, I want to answer the question from Loretta. Yeah, you cannot choose at random which you do first, grading or vocabulary. You will have allocated time for every part of the test. Within the part, you can decide which question to do first, but not the part. The parts are set in the order I gave you today. Writing, vocabulary, reading, listening, speaking. This order doesn't change. Okay, hope it helps. Thank you so much. I'm going to hang around in the chat a little bit longer. So if you have more questions, please let me know. Okay, I will answer. Thank you.